Coming up this week on Kings of the Rings podcast, crack a couple of beers with us because we're going to celebrate our 316th episode in the best way possible by talking about AEW Full Gear and also getting prepared for Survivor Series War Games. Plus, HBK Shawn Michaels introduces a brand new never-before-seen match that's going to debut at NXT Deadline. So seriously, crack open a beer or two, get off of Ticketmaster. You're not getting the Taylor Swift tickets, but you are going to get episode 316 of Kings of the Rings podcast exclusively on Wrestle Addict Radio. And it starts right now.
Night music. Night music.
Oh, we got Anthony Rizzo back, thank God. Thank God.
Woo!
Thank
Hell
God.
yeah,
One contract down, about 20,000 more to go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we need Benny, we need Judd, we need an outfield,
we need a
staff,
lot. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
shit.
to episode number 316 of Kings of the Rings podcast. Oh, hell yes. Our ceremonial 316th episode dedicated to Mr. 316 himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I am your host, King Ricky Rose. K. Murphy is here with us in spirit again because, as we know, internet is internet. Also with me, as always, is the somewhat childish yet always grand man himself, Will Tereshak. Will, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I don't know what's up with K. It's like every time they go away, the internet cuts out. It's always the best screenshot.
It's hilarious. A great screenshot.
I had his invitations that got revoked. I don't know if that happened.
That's what my sources said.
Thomas, A-R-A-S-H-U-K. A lot of fun stuff tonight on the show. So without further ado, I guess we just hop right into it.
Yeah, might as well hop right into it because Kay is not here, as you guys can see, just for proof. Kay is frozen in time, but Kay is still always invited to the cookout, just for reference, Will Tereshak. Anywho, moving along, before we get started, it is...
Great look. It's so funny.
It is 316, so we are going to crack open some beer. So, Will, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking Stella. I don't know how long these Stellas have been in my fridge, but that's what I'm drinking.
Nice.
Hey, beer can't go bad if it's not opened, right?
I believe that's correct. I don't quote me on that science or not, but I believe that is correct. I am drinking for the first time ever because I've actually never had this one before. I had the Broken Skull IPA from Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is right next to me, but I do also have his Broken Skull American Lager, which I'm going to crack open for you guys right about now. Oh yeah.
Yo, actually, I got a Busch Light. That's
you
in
should
my
probably
fridge
throw
since
that
February.
Yeah, but it's
not
Busch
open,
Light.
though. It's fine.
No, just do not.
Yeah, Busch lattes are great, dude. You're tripping.
I'm not tripping. And I used to drink Natty in college. That's where, and that was because I was in Maryland. But anyway, cheers to 316. Cheers, everybody, whoever's drinking with us. Will.
You can't talk.
Listen, I went to
Natty,
school in
dude.
Maryland. I will do whatever I want. So can you cheers?
At least it wasn't
Cheers,
there
yeah,
against it. Yeah, cheers, buddy.
Drink along. Let's try to. Oh wow. Oh wow, that's really good. You're gonna love this, Will.
What does it taste
crisp.
like?
It goes down real smooth. It's got a hint of cherry, but not too much. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Excellent.
That is
Excellent.
that is
I can't wait.
fantastic.
Yeah, there's a place on 8th Ave. It's like 8th and 49th. It's like at a home goods. It's not a home goods.
Yeah.
It's a supermarket. They sell the beer there. So
Yeah, get like
pick some up
4
next
because
week.
you're gonna go through one. You're gonna go through one really quickly because I'm about to. That is wow. This might be my new favorite beer. Which said, well, I mean, I drink beer and mostly wine now too, but it's up there with High Life for me because I'm a big Miller High Life fan.
Thank you, Taquan. Someone had to say it.
Taquan, cut it out, man. Cut it out. Anyway, as we're going to continue drinking beers and going into the show, unfortunately without K. Murphy, but we are going to talk about AEW Full Gear, which we may or may not attend. Who the hell knows? It's only Wednesday. Full Gear is...
That's gonna be a may not
Yeah,
not
Full
here this
Gear is going to
weekend.
be emanating from the America's Armpit, known as New Jersey, at The Rock, and it's got a pretty decent card. That's going to be there. I think it's 8 matches so far. Dynamite is going on right now as we are doing the show live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So card potentially subject to change, but here are the 8 matches that we know of right now, and we are going to start out obviously with the biggest match on the card, the AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley versus MJF, also known as the MJF Coronation Spectacular, because I totally believe that there is no way in hell MJF leaves the Prudential Center without this title.
Yeah, it is pretty fitting for a guy from Long Island to win the world title in New Jersey.
That is a perfect way to go.
He cut a pretty solid promo like a week or two ago. He was just like, listen, my moment in the spotlight has always been stolen by someone, whether it's, someone coming back, or it's someone getting injured, or a fucking press conference. So,
Perfect.
like, it's true. MJF's moment in the sun has always been kidnapped by something. It's a damn shame because it's like MJF is always the second most talked about person in that company.
Which is a shame because he should definitely be the number one talked about person in the company. But that's not all the time on him. That's on, backstage politics and whatnot.
Yeah. But I agree. I think he wins. I mean, why not, right? AEW needs some buzz right now. To me, AEW's
They
been
need
a
a
really dead
positive.
company. Since that Punk thing happened, I just haven't cared to watch. I've kind of followed a few things here and there. But I haven't actually sat down and watched a full show in a while. But I'm still a big MJF fan. I'm still a Moxley fan. I'm still an AEW fan. But I need something to bring me back in. I think
I think
MJF
MJF can do it too. Because you know what it is with MJF? MJF has the pulse of their core fan base, especially when he cuts promos. MJF knows what they want to hear. He knows how to deliver it in a way where it's very tongue in cheek. Where he kind of is like, you know what I'm talking about, I'm going to reference it, you get it. So it's almost like when he's cutting promos, he's letting you in on something
Yes.
that you're not supposed to be privy to. But since
Yeah, that's a great psychological
and
breakdown.
so with because he's kind of faking a fake break of the fourth wall, you're so intrigued by him. And I'm intrigued by him all the time. Like when he speaks, I listen. I'm like, this is going to be really good. But MJF knows his fan
Yeah,
base.
when he speaks, I listen and go, bro, stop yelling.
I bet you their tech guys probably hate him.
Yeah, their ears just like, bro, like my hearing is down decibels because of you.
Yeah, I think Moxley does his job. I think this is going to be one of Moxley's last championship runs for a considerable amount of time, because I don't think he needs a title anymore, especially since he re-signed. He's going to do a lot more backstage. And I think this is a good way for him to pass the torch over to MJF and see if he can, take the ball and run with it.
No, I disagree. I think Moxley's going to be on TV wrestling for a very long time. I think Jericho is taking a more backstage role, as well as being more towards ROH as opposed to AEW. But yeah, I do agree. Moxley doesn't need a title. He's big in the title. He's a man who's forever over. He is someone who is carrying a torch for that company, whether he has a title or not. I mean, he's the guy over there. He's respected. He deserves it. He's a mega star. There's nothing left
Yeah.
he has to
And he's
prove
a
to
professional.
anybody.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing. I go back to when I was there his last night, at his last night in WWE, because his final night was in the Barclays Center. Everybody knew it was his last night, and he cut a great 8 to 10 minute promo after the show about his time and how he's grown and how he appreciates everybody. Like, he left like a professional should. You know. So,
Hell yeah.
so kudos to Moxley. I will tell you this though, because I am a big belt connoisseur. I was on Shop AEW's like Twitter page. They actually are now
Oh
selling
yeah.
for real now the AEW Championship belt. It is
It's a
pretty.
pretty
It's
belt.
also 800. It's also
It's a
$800.
very
Yeah, it
well,
is a
yeah, it's
big belt.
huge. Right? It's the size of two belts. So it's
Yeah,
gonna cost us
the
twice
TNT
as much, of
titles were on
course.
pre-sale, which I kind of giggled at. I was like, really?
Oh, hilarious. Let's buy the TNT title with some actual TNT and just blow it up. We'll be like a Republican. We'll be like a Republican ad.
We can be like those guys. You remember when people would wait in line for like Xboxes or like PlayStations, and there'd be always one dick who would buy it and be like, oh, and it's like show the crowd, and then he'd smash it on the street.
He smash it.
There's
What a
always
dick.
one video of some asshole that would do that like on every big like console launch. So, but yeah, I would be down to blow up the TNT Championship because that is such a silly ass title.
We should make a custom belt and it's called the TNN belt.
TNN.
When Raw was on TNN for like
Called
6
the Spike
months.
TV belt.
Yeah, didn't
TNN
TNN become
became
Spike,
Spike
which
and then
became like
became
the
the
Paramount
Paramount, yeah.
Network? God,
But yeah,
what a time
yeah,
to be
oh my
alive.
God, yeah, what a crazy time to be alive. I want to buy a case of water and pour it out in front of an African. Wow, Jesus, Taekwon, you do need to be
Wow.
a comedian.
Glad you said it, not me.
Because I read it.
But yeah, MJF. I do hope he wins. Is he a face or a heel?
MJF? Huh.
Yeah. Like, it's weird. Because he was like, I am the devil, MJF. And like him and Stokey were like a thing. Now him and Stokey aren't a thing. And like, you see what Stokey kind of promo saying he's a dick rider to John
Stokely
Moxley?
Hathaway said that? I love
Yeah.
Stokely Hathaway.
So it's just
He's
like,
fucking amazing.
I also love Stokely. But it's just like, I don't know what MJF is supposed to be. Like, could he be a face? He probably could. But he's a 10 times better heel.
He does cut some great face promos. Like the one against Regal was a face promo, and Regal healed it up perfectly.
Yeah.
I think in the eyes of the fans, he's a face, but I think he's supposed to be a heel in storyline. Yeah,
He's supposed to be a heel?
it's one of those things.
Oh, yeah. Fretz is a good point. Stone Cold 97 pre-Mania 13.
Okay,
Yeah. Stone Cold was supposed to be a heel, but he was doing heelish things and getting cheered. I know. I literally was watching Raw the other night from 97. So
Fretz,
very
that's true.
accurate.
Nate does have the war title that was made. So we can see about it. Yeah, did you ever know, Will, that Nate made a war title?
I think I heard of
There's
it, but
pictures
forgot
there
about
somewhere.
it.
I'll
So now that's dedication.
yeah.
Soraya's neck.
We're going to
sick,
talk about
Jesus
that. That's going to
Christ.
be an interesting match in and of itself. But before we get to that, let's move on to this. I think we're both sold on the fact that MJF should win
MJF,
this.
baby. Who's going to win? Who do you
I
want
kind
to
of
win?
want to be there as a
MJF.
fellow Long Islander to kind of cheer on because, like, it's a point of pride for Long Islanders when we do something that's like nationally recognized.
Yeah, dude. No one cares about Long Island except for
On
people
Long
in
Island.
Long Island. On Long
That's
Island.
right. It
I'm
happens
sorry,
to
you're
the
correct.
best of us. Let's go. Moving on to this interim women's world championship. Yeah,
I forgot it's an interim.
Interim women's world title. Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter, who's gotten a lot of buzz. Everybody wants to be a hater.
Whoop-de-doo.
But here's the problem with this. What I can't get my head. I can get my head wrapped around it, but I can't get over it. Is the fact that it's still the interim world title.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Like,
it's been 2 months.
And I don't think Thunder Rosa's coming back. Like, I heard she's on bad terms with some people backstage. Like,
Oh, her and Britt legitimately
yeah, so
don't like
like,
each other.
if you're not gonna bring Thunder Rosa back, you should take this interim thing off of her, unless.
Well, I don't know how long it takes like UFC to actually have an interim versus the actual heavyweight actual champion. I think if they're in the contract, they still make it an interim and a legit one until the fighter comes back. But, yeah, this is wrestling though. They should just strip her.
Especially you have no plans.
Like I don't mind the interim title if it's only like for a few weeks in wrestling. Like if it's part of a storyline. Like AEW's problem is too much real shit that becomes a storyline. And it's just like I don't care for the real drama. I like fake drama in wrestling. I don't know, like I like hearing about the real drama, but not seeing it on TV and like so in my face. It's
like
weird.
here's the thing. Like so, let's say the interim, like the concept of the interim world championship and that storyline is actually a really cool thing, and I think it worked very, very well when they did it with the world title because there, like you said, there wasn't that much time in between before they combined them again.
Yeah, and Punk was only out for
Exactly. There wasn't
like
that much time in between.
It wasn't out for that long. Like there was an actual timetable for his return. Thunder Rose was like if Thunder Rose had knee surgery, I don't know if it's I think
Which
it's
is
her
bad
neck or whatever. But like if she had like knee surgery and she's out for a year, you just strip her the title. Like imagine if they made Asuka interim Raw Women's Champion when she was pregnant.
And then you can do a whole lineage of the interim Raw Women's title.
Yeah, that'd be ridiculous. So if Tony Storm drops the interim title,
it doesn't mean anything.
Does that mean Jamie Hayter? Does that mean Jamie Hayter is the interim title? That's another thing in UFC. If you're the interim title holder, I don't think you fight. I don't think you defend the interim title until you fight.
Yeah, because they have to do a unification.
Yeah,
it's usually two people fight for the interim.
You don't defend interim titles.
Yeah, because it's usually two people fight for the interim championship in lieu of a champion being there.
Yes.
And then the interim champion faces the champion when the champion's ready to fight.
Yeah, when the champion's healthy.
Yeah, it's weird because like there's no time frame for this. So interim where it's like for instance like
Tony I wrestle on Dark Storm. Facts, bro.
Here's also the issue with it, as well. Like WWE has had interim champions before, but they never called it the interim championship, and I think that's what's fucking over AEW is that it's actually called the interim title. So, for instance, remember when you had the Shawn HBK and Razor, which leads to the ladder match, see who's the real Intercontinental Champion? Yeah.
Okay,
there was never an interim hold on it. He was like, I'm the real champion. Shawn was like, I'm the real champion.
Like, fuck you. You're the interim champion. WWE wasn't like, actually, no, he's the interim champion. No, that's to your point, though. That's a great point. And that's like, remember when Moxley had the interim title from Punk, that's something we said. Like, if Punk comes out and says, I'm the real champion, it's brilliant. If it doesn't, it's kind of stupid.
And it's like, it's a Punk storyline with John Cena from when he got over like Rover.
Yeah, that one should have been
long. That should have been so much longer, But they still never used the interim title thing. Like
they never used the word interim, right? Like you can have the interim title, just use it as to get heat on the champion, or to get heat on the heel who has the interim title. Yeah, you're 1,000% correct. It's just like, guys, it's wrestling.
Yeah, and like this does nothing for Toni Storm. One, if she loses. Two, even if she wins and then Thunder Rosa comes back and she loses, does Toni Storm's reign as champion count? Does Jamie Hayter's reign as champion count if they don't actually win the real title?
That's another great question.
You know?
I think it has to
For what
count.
though? I was the interim. Like, do you put an asterisk in the record book? Like, what do you do?
I honestly, I should call Jared and see what that works for UFC. Like, if you win an interim title, are you considered if you win an interim title and then go into unification, are you a two-time heavyweight champion?
Do you where do they fit in like the lineage of that title?
Yeah, where they fit in a lineage and where does it fit in your career accolades? So like if you win, like say you win an interim title, like an interim welterweight champion, you lose unification match. A year and a half later, you win the welterweight championship from someone else.
Are you just a one-time champion?
Or you're a one-time champion and a one-time interim champion.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but I kind
I'm
of want
very
to find
interested.
out. We need to talk to some. We need to talk to some MMA. Like, hey, Bobby Lashley,
Well,
answer
Charles,
me
no, Charles is
this.
a big UFC guy. Even though we won't talk about Izzy getting knocked out because that was shocking.
Oh, Asanya, I
No,
think
no,
like
no,
the
no,
15-year-old.
no. Adesanya.
Oh, Asanya,
Yeah,
yeah, fifth round too.
crazy. That left, man. That left. So anyway, we got to pick a winner. I'll just go Tony. Yeah.
Tony
I think
Storm,
Jamie's going to
cool.
get a good
Who
pop because she's
cares?
Hater and everybody loves Jamie Hater, and she's finally getting out of the getting out of a shadow of Britt Baker DMD. But
It's an
it is an
asterisk. Okay,
asterisk. Okay. Okay, so they can be in
fair.
the
Honestly,
lineage and
fair.
they'll just be asterisk interim champion, and so people will make their own distinction. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think Jamie Hayter's coming to her own, getting out of like I said the shadow of Britt Baker DMD. But I think Tony wins this.
Is she AEW's Liv Morgan or is she
Hayter?
better?
I think
Yeah.
she's better at the moment. I think she's better at the moment. Although I'm big on Liv Morgan post title loss.
I am as well. Not gonna lie. Liv is like, oh, finally, you actually have
Yeah,
character.
she reminds me of you ever watch. You've never seen Archer, have you? Okay,
No,
yeah,
we
she
had this
reminds
conversation
me
a
of
few weeks
Cheryl
ago.
Tunt from Archer, Liv Morgan these days. Uh,
I know this dude. Liv Morgan is just instantly more sexy. She has a lot more sex
yeah, when
appeal.
she's like, "Hit me," I'm like, "All right."
Yes, ma'am.
But yeah, Tony Storm wins this. I think Jamie Hayter does a good showing, but she's not ready to win even an interim title at the moment.
She can. What if she just bought one off AEW? I'm the interim champion. I am the interim to the interim. Fuck all y'all.
That'd be great. All right, let's move on to essentially a fatal four way. The ROH World Title, this should probably steal the show if done absolutely correctly because there are a bunch of workers in here, and this could either be really good.
Good God.
It could be
Good
really good
God.
or really bad.
Dude, Daniel Bryan looks so
He
fucking old
does.
in that graphic. Like, did they make his beard gray? Like, why does Chris Jericho look younger than Bryan Danielson?
Chris Jericho definitely had the ear of the person who did the graphic card.
Yeah, right?
So we have the ROH World Title, which I'm very upset. I'm not upset they went back to the Pure Title, but the ROH World Title that was the World Title before the Pure Championship came back in was a really nice looking title. This one just seems very meh. Anywho, championship belt aside, you have the ROH World Champion Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson versus Claudio Castagnoli, formerly known as Cesaro, versus everybody's favorite person that nobody knows in a boxing arena, Sammy Guevara. This could go many ways, and I don't know where it's gonna go. I don't think so. Let's eliminate somebody real quick. I don't think Sammy wins.
I was gonna say,
I think Sammy is essentially your spot monkey because he's the most athletic and still in his athletic prime where he does a lot of crazy shit. But until he gets uppercutted
Yeah.
by Claudio.
yeah, I feel like when doing poses, Sammy's like, what is everyone else doing? He's like, I'm just gonna give it to Cesaro. Ah. Just to fuck with them. I agree though. It's gonna be a great 450 to an
That
uppercut.
uppercut's
for
gonna be
sure.
great too.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. New York's gonna pop. The Rock's gonna split. I think Jericho walks out with it. I mean, listen. He's a demo god, or whatever the fuck he's calling himself these days, the wizard or whatever, 9 Lives Jericho. He did it once before with AEW, carrying that company on his back. It's just the problem with ROH is no one knows what's going
They
on
don't
with
have
ROH.
a television show.
They have no. They got nothing. All ROH is just more titles on AEW Dynamite. Like, there's like literally the other day, like the Acclaimed came out for like a match against or tag. I don't know if it's tagging with or up against FTR, but FTR had 3 titles, and the Acclaimed had 2. So it's like the tag champions for your brand look worse than the people who have more belts from other promotions. Like they look like the bigger
Yeah.
stars. It's just like it's too
But
many
that's
belts,
that's
man.
also an issue. Like
Too
like
many
here's the thing. I
belts.
understand the idea of allowing your performers to go to other companies, other territories, and win their belts, and to show up their belts on TV because that helps everybody involved. I think everybody agrees with that.
Does it
Usually, but the
though?
fact of the matter is, like you said, when you have the team who's not your tag champions having more belts than the team that is actually your tag champions on TV battling each other, it makes your titles look worse, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It makes your champions look worse. It makes your champions look not as
correct.
important. And in the grand scheme of things, AEW is a bigger promotion, whatever third string belts
Well, no,
or
they have a
FTR
AAA, which is a
has.
huge promotion in Mexico. I think it's the biggest one in Mexico, and New Japan's.
All right, in Mexico, but in the
But they
states,
also
it's
have the
third
NJPW
string,
tag titles too, I believe.
which I would say is equivalent
Okay.
to AEW. Because it's okay. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's too many belts, and it just looks weird. And I think on paper, it's a good idea, right? Like when ROH, or even if there's ROH has
Mhm.
no TV deal, like you shouldn't have done any of this until you had
I
a deal.
totally agree.
Like there's nothing wrong with holding off on ROH. It's just like, because otherwise, what's Jericho the champion of?
A promotion that doesn't actually exist.
That's what I mean. Yeah, he's a champion of lineage. He's a champion of memories and video packages
You
that
know what
haven't
this
been used
reminds
for
me of,
anything.
actually, now that I think about it? This reminds me of when WWE acquired WCW and ECW by default, and they rushed to put the product out there. Like, remember,
Yeah,
the first couple of weeks, they took away the last hour of Raw and made it WCW Nitro, and they had
yeah.
nothing. And it looked bad. And that's what it reminds me of.
It's like playing Universe Mode in 2K.
Yeah, but
That's a great point,
at least you
Charles.
can make an arena in universe mode.
Yeah, but it's like, honestly, if you took out the ROH title from this match, is it really any
Probably
different?
not, no.
Are there really any stakes on the line here?
Besides the title, no, not really. That's why, because ROH
Not
doesn't really
really.
exist yet, and ROH isn't reborn yet.
Yeah, like having Jericho be a champion and like carrying that brand, phenomenal. But the brand doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
yeah, it doesn't exist, which is a shame. And when the brand does actually exist, they need to do everything in their power to make sure they are not AEW light, because you have AEW dark and dark elevation for that.
And it's like, why am I watching AEW to watch Ring of
Exactly,
Honor?
yeah. That's exactly the point. It needs to be completely and utterly different.
Yeah, like I keep going back to this point with the AEW. AEW is the answer to why doesn't WWE do this? They go, oh,
That's why.
that's I guess that's
Yeah,
why.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, Jericho wins.
I can't see Claudio and I can't see Sammy. Brian Dennison is a false finish and a half. Yeah, Jericho pulls a rabbit out of his hat because it's Jericho, and that's what he does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the
Moving on.
best. Totally do not regret putting him on the Mount Rushmore.
Was he on our Mount
Anymore.
Rushmore?
He was. It was him or Cena. We put him on there
Put
instead.
Jericho ahead of Cena? Nice.
Yeah, we did. It was. Well, I forget who our four was. I just remember Austin and Jericho were on there.
And we forced Kay to give up their Jeff Hardy dream. And CM Punk.
And CM Punk
Oh, because I think I put Jeff Hardy and CM Punk against each other.
in the same bracket. Yeah, we put him in the same bracket.
Anywho, so it's going to be Soraya, formerly known as Paige's.
Hogan was on there
return,
too.
because you can't get rid of Hogan. Soraya, Soraya,
Hogan.
aka formerly known as Paige's return match against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. On paper, this looks interesting, and to be honest with you, this is probably the more popular women's match on the card outside of whatever Jade Cargill's going to do. because you have Paige, and there's a draw there because she technically is cleared according to her promo and ready to go. So everybody's going to be interested to see how she does. And whether or not she's good in the ring or she has any ring rust or whatever, she's going to beat Britt Baker. You can't, yeah, you're not going to sign Saraya, have her come out to all this pomp and circumstance in the middle of Arthur Ashe Stadium randomly, to have her not beat Britt Baker, who is essentially the only woman on your Mount Rushmore of females on AEW.
Yeah. Well, okay, so again, the promo Saraya cut was really weird.
I heard interesting things, but I didn't get to listen to it. So can you give me a synopsis?
She buried the entire women's division
that's not
for
good.
AEW. It's like it would have been a great promo if she was coming in as a heel.
Huh.
Like, I don't know why Paige isn't a heel. So first off, they made is she cleared, is she not cleared part of storyline, which I don't know if anyone's really buying, because you wouldn't show up if you weren't cleared. Right?
It's the whole reason that you show up to a wrestling organization. Yeah.
Is to wrestle. And because you're cleared. Otherwise, if she wasn't cleared, she would have stayed in WWE for the paycheck. Yeah. Now, it is true, I believe WWE would not clear her, which is why she left. Yeah. Which, fine, find a doctor who tells you what you want to hear. That's fine with me.
Work for Daniel Bryan.
So exactly. So she is cleared. But in the promo, she was like, I'm here to start a revolution. And Britt Baker was just like, bitch, get in line. I've started this revolution. And Paige was just like, yeah, but you haven't, though. Like, I'm the best. You haven't wrestled in Madison Square Garden. She pretty much just said, you didn't start shit. You weren't in WWE.
Ooh.
It was just like, she's just like, this is my house. And Britt Baker's just like, bitch, you didn't lay a brick on this foundation. This is my division. Like, what are you talking about? And it's just like, Paige, why are you a babyface here? It was weird. You just go back and watch it.
That is a weird way to comment. I'm here to start a revolution. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, they have tried to do a women's revolution, and that failed 10 times over.
Then honestly, tell that story as a heel. And honestly, Saraya, you're going after the wrong person. Because Britt Baker is that women's division. That's it. It's her. It's her and only her. So to say, like, I'm here to do what you couldn't do, no, she did it. She's the only one doing it.
Well, it was her and Thunder.
You should be fighting Jamie Hayter.
Her and Thunder.
Yeah,
which
pretty
is
much.
A shame. Like, if you look at that division, and Jada's up and coming because she has started her rise, and she's from a social media and I guess marketing perspective, Jade Cargill does great. Yeah, she's great.
Everything. Yeah, she's on the outside.
But like when you look at that roster of women, especially the people that came over, formerly from WWE, that division should be kicking ass consistently. Like when you have Tony who can go, Britt Baker, who's said that she can go, Thunder Rosa, Ember Moon who can go, Ruby Soho on a good day can go really well. Like, there should be a good nucleus there, but it's just not.
Honestly, it's the same thing WWE had. The talent's there.
Don't know what to do with it. Yeah.
There's just no place. Tony Khan's just like, women, Ring of Honor. Shit. Let's push the show that doesn't exist over people with vaginas.
Well, now that Brandy's not there, he can do whatever the hell he wants. So,
yeah, I guess.
Although, ironically, I was looking at Full Gear stuff. So apparently, they're gonna have a heels meetup at a suite in the Prudential Center. You have to be a heel member only. You have to show proof of membership.
Oh, I'll do it. I'll buy it. The guy identifies as a woman. Fuck all you. New Jersey, bitch. You can't tell me when I'm not. We're not in Atlanta.
Nice. Oh man, so it's gonna be a heels meetup, which is interesting. Also, well, I'll talk about that a little.
Because like, hey, listen, ladies, I'm just being a heel, all right?
I'm
I'm
just a
just
heel
following
being a
suit.
heel.
Just a heel being a heel,
God,
wearing
everything went so
heels.
wrong with that too. Like again, one of those things. Like on paper, AW heel sounds like a great idea, especially to bring in.
Did it though? We shut
It's
on it when it
because
was first
Brandy fucked it up.
announced.
That's why. Classic,
Classic
Brandy.
Brandy. We all know Cody Rhodes left AEW because of Brandy. He made up this whole win the big one bullshit to save face. But you know what? Cheers to you, Cody, and to you, Brandy. Thanks for doing us all a favor. He's like, yeah, it's because of CM Punk.
Son, it's gonna be the sidebar real quick. It is going to be absolutely nutty when Cody's healthy, which should be in a couple of months.
Dude, you know what? So I was watching Crown Jewel, and like, you know how they have those video packages instead of
Oh well, yeah.
commercials.
When you have the premium, when you have the premium
In between
package, yeah.
matches. Yeah. So Cody's came on, and I was just like, God damn, I can't wait to boo this man. I was just like, I can't wait for him to come back and we boo the fuck out of him. I predicted when he left AEW, we're gonna cheer him. I'm predicting it right now. Hear me now, quote me later. We're gonna boo Cody. We're gonna turn on Cody Rhodes so fast when he comes back.
I think it's.
Dude, he's gonna win the Rumble and go against Roman. We're all gonna boo him. We're gonna
I think
boo
that
the
story is
fuck
a
out
great
of him.
story to tell, though.
I know, but we're gonna boo him, dude. We're wrestling fans. We ruin everything. I'm telling you, people are gonna eventually boo Cody Rhodes, and I can't wait
If
for
we
it.
boo him to the point where he goes back to dashing Cody and he puts paper bags in people's faces, then I'm all for it.
He's gonna bully him, dude. We're gonna bully Cody Rhodes into being booed.
That's what I want. Dashing Cody to put paper bags on fans' faces, which is like the best Cody ever. Besides this version of Cody.
I mean, here's the thing, dude. We already did it. Exactly. He gets booed by SummerSlam. Thank you, Charles. Because the thing, the storyline of coming back as a triumphant babyface, we already did it. It's already been done, and he got hurt. It's been done. It was a story cut short. It was a story cut short, but it's a story that
had
had
a finale with Seth. I mean, because also he fought a match with one arm essentially.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. That's top babyface, dude. You can't. There's no going. You can't top that amount of babyface.
He could get booed by SummerSlam, but
him.
I think the WrestleMania build, if it's just going to be a true build, he will be cheered, and then the downfall will be at Slam.
It depends who he goes up against, really.
It's a lot to be told, but I can't wait. Like when he comes back, wow, that WWE roster is going to be loaded.
I can't wait to boo him. I can't fucking wait to boo Cody Rhodes.
Absolutely loaded. But yeah, I think Saraya beats Britt Baker because
Saraya wins.
That's what's going to happen. Moving on.
But please turn heel. The women's division needs a great heel, and Britt Baker is ready to be a face.
Here we go. AEW, speaking of AEW tag team titles, AEW Tag Team World Championship match. The Acclaimed are defending against Swerve in Our Glory. Also, another sideberg. I was on Peacock and I was looking at WWE's Best Of list. Do you know they had a Best of Keith Lee video package? I was like, really?
Are you sure? Was this highlights of his 24?
It goes a solid 2 hours and change. I was like, wow, that's not bad. But
dude, they need to release another 24.
Yeah, they do. They didn't do a 24 for this year's WrestleMania, which they needed to do.
They usually release it around SummerSlam,
so.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually release one of the big fours. They just didn't do it. The This Is Awesome show is okay.
I finished watching that one. We talked about the weddings. Oh my god, weddings.
The weddings was great. They released another one recently too, but they didn't do Macho Man and Elizabeth. Which what the fuck? That's the wedding. That's the
true.
wrestling
it's
wedding.
the only one that went well.
But the guy who hosts it, I'm just like, I could do a better job.
He's pretty famous actually.
I know, but I'm just like, you're reading a script. I could do better than this.
Yeah. But for this match, Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn in the background because Scissor Me Timber.
Daddy ass, dude.
My God. I'm so mad he didn't show up at the DX reunion because Tony Khan wouldn't let him.
Well, it's because they wanted like I think AEW in the lower third or graphic. They
They
wanted
wanted
some
some
kind of
acknowledgement.
yes, and Triple H was just
No.
like no. He's like, do you know who Billy Gunn is? Like, what? Shut the fuck up.
One of the lower third. Get the fuck out of here, Tony. That's asking for too much. I'm interested in this match, to be honest with you. Especially since Swerve seems a little bit unhinged in AEW lately. Like, he just says whatever the fuck is on his mind. And no one's afraid to, like, stop him.
Yeah, dude, he's like, fuck, man, I'm looking back to Hit Row.
He was like, well, he's like, can you imagine that phone call? Top dollar, what's good, son? What? What? They resigned you.
VFAB 2? Shit.
People he comes in, hey, what's going on, Swerve? Nothing. Nothing. I'm fine. Fine.
He's like, hey, bro, they hired your wife, man. They hired your wife. He's like, what if he was just like, yo, lady, I got an idea. We're gonna go out there on live television. We're gonna go 3, 2, 1, and just start singing the N-word song, and that's our promo. And then we just walk out.
Did you imagine? Oh my god.
Or we call Tony Khan a dirty
yeah,
bastard.
that'll do it.
And
That'll
gone.
do it.
That'll do it. Although CM Punk pretty much did,
yeah,
and
we
nothing
haven't
happened.
seen Punk since.
So.
I don't know how this is going to go. I'm excited for this. I think this has a lot of potential. I think this is really good. But I think the Acclaimed fends off Swerve in Our Glory. Barely, though. I think you have to run with the Acclaimed.
From what I've heard, the Acclaimed was the dog who caught the car.
Okay, can you elaborate?
Like, or the dog who caught his tail. It's like, okay, you accomplished your goal. Now what? Right? It's just like they peaked, they've plateaued. As champions, they kind of just lost their luster and forgot what got them to dance in the first place. Like, I think Tony Khan pretty much stopped doing the raps for the most part.
That was their thing, though.
Which, that's what I mean. Like, what got them to the dance? Now that they're at the dance, they stopped dancing.
No, you gotta keep dancing,
from what I've heard.
though. You gotta keep dancing.
I mean.
You can't, you never go off a heater.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're still over. I'm still a big fan of They Claimed It. I was trying to remember when we did when me and Kay went to the first Arthur Ashe show. I'm trying to remember if I predicted by this time next year the Acclaimed would be in the title picture. I want to go back and listen to the episode, but I'm pretty sure I called that the Acclaimed would be in the title picture by the next Arthur Ashe. I didn't think they'd be winning the titles, but I said they'd be in the picture.
Yeah, no, they're good. I like them. I think you got to run with them. I think they're good spokespeople for the show. Everybody seems to love them. You just gotta reinvent them now. You gotta find good opponents for them, and they have to go through all of these tag teams that happen to have titles outside from other companies, and they have to beat them.
I mean, there's plenty of teams to go through. They got.
You know what screws it up? Oh, because apparently the Elite are showing up in Jersey, which yay. You know what screws up with the tag titles? I think you had mentioned this before in a prior show. The trios titles.
Dude, I forgot they had those stupid titles. I totally forgot who holds those titles. You know what? Who cares? I still stand by that. You have one or the other. Nope, not both.
Yeah, it's too much.
Honestly, dude, just like if the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass win the trios titles, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. Charles said, let's Swerve in Our Glory win, just to emphasize the point that they're not where they want to be. That would be great. Wait, AR Fox finally made it to TV? Finally. Finally.
You know what?
Yes,
cheers
absolutely.
To AR Fox,
cheers
I love
to AR
that guy.
Fox.
We got to drink to AR Fox.
That made my night. I am so happy. I will rewatch Dynamite
we should be smoking the AR Fox, but who gives a shit? I'm out
He
of weed.
smoked enough for everybody. Trust me. That arena probably reeks of weed. Like, there's no air filter in the world that stopped AR Fox.
I mean, it probably leaked
If
of
you
weed
don't know who the
before
hell
he
we're
got
talking
there.
about, if you're listening to this show, or you've been watching this show, just go look up an AR Fox match on the internet. You won't be disappointed.
You go to YouTube, type in AR Fox Evolve Laboon. You're welcome.
Yeah. This man has done the craziest shit high. A lot. Were you there? I don't think you were there with me. I went to see an AR Fox match. It was AR Fox versus Tyler Breeze at Evolve at Laboon. You weren't with me. Wade was with me.
I
Yeah,
don't
it was
remember
AR
that.
Fox versus Tyler Breeze at Laboon.
The AR Fox had
Yeah.
bangers. I mean, the guy, he was the best of that group.
Yeah,
by
think of the people
far.
who came from that group, the Skulk.
Skulk?
Leon Ruff came from Swerve. Well, no,
Leon
Swerve
Ruff.
was part of the Unwanted. That was Swerve, Joe Gacy, and Eddie Kingston. Crazy how they all made it. One of the females from the Skulk is now a referee for WWE, but no, AR Fox was the man. Mm-hmm.
Really? The black, the
Yeah,
one,
she's
the one
married.
black
She's
referee,
Leon Ruff's
black
wife.
chick. Oh,
Yep,
that's
that's
her
her
from the Skulk.
Not the
Good for
one,
her.
because there was two females. One of them was like AR Fox's like wife, I think, and then there was another chick.
Yeah, because there's a white chick, then there was
Yeah.
that ref.
And then AR Fox's, and say what you want, AR Fox's biggest success is Austin Theory. Austin Theory trained
yeah,
AR
sure.
Fox. I mean, AR Fox trained Austin Theory. My fault.
Oh yeah, and
Oh
they,
yeah,
they had
absolutely,
great matches.
absolutely.
You're not gonna lie, I would love to be a WWE ref.
You have the height for it.
That would be an amazing job.
Yeah, you have the height.
I
You
do.
have the
Yeah,
height
I
and
have
the
the body
body
for it too.
Be freaking perfect. And as a
I'm so
as a
expressive.
ref too, like you get like, so you're not an independent contractor. You are signed as an employee of WWE, so they cover all of your accommodations. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Because you actually work for the company.
That's fascinating. So you're not considered
No.
talent.
Yeah.
What a gig, dude.
The only thing you have to do is get your ear molded for the earpiece. And you do like,
Yeah,
I think
great.
from what I've heard, you do like 2 matches a night. That's pretty much it.
I wonder how much they get paid.
I don't know. You get 2 matches a night and you get one.
Six figures.
I'd probably say high fives.
It's probably like
I would
$80,000,
say so,
$90,000
yeah.
a year.
That's my.
Nah, that's not worth it. I won't do it for. You gotta do 6 figures. Like Mike Chioda and like Tim White back in the day probably got like close to 7. Earl
Probably
Hebner
the-
probably
you
got close
probably
to 7,
start-
but like little Nate probably gets
It's
7
probably
figures.
the what is it? Like, because those guys developed a character, but those guys were also known to be the best of the best. So I think you start out in the high 5s, low 6s, and then you build your way up. Like, the more they trust you, the more,
Yeah, of course.
like, essentially you get a character. Like, Earl Hebner became a character after a while. Little Nature's a character. Kyoto's not really a character, but everybody knows him as a really good fucking ref.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So...
Like if you're a new ref, baseline should be 100,000.
So I don't know what their prices is. I'd have to check, but that'd be an interesting thing to look at. But the perks I think would be great. For me at least. Anywho. Yeah, AEW World Title match. The Acclaim beat Swerve in Our Glory. Let's move on to the head baddie in charge, not Mia Yim, Jade Cargill, defending her TBS title against the quota. Here's a way of doing the interim title the right way in kind of a weird way. So you have Jade, who's the real TBS champion, facing Nyla Rose, who calls herself the TBS champion and kind of stole the TBS title, but not really. Yes,
This
is
shit's
happening.
still happening.
And to be honest with you, Nyla, happy to have you back. You bring a little bit more character to the women's division, but you're not stopping the Jade train.
All right, so rookie
You're
refs.
still on this rep thing.
I just looked it up.
Okay.
I looked it up. I was curious. Rookie refs get an annual salary of like $0. They get a $500 per match
Oof.
fee.
Is that on the indies, I'm assuming?
Maybe this is WWE refs, so probably like NXT house shows, maybe. Like if you're
Okay.
brand new.
All right.
So females get 150,000 with $1,000 match fee, and then the professionals get 300,000 with $2,500 match fee.
Wow.
So you get 300,000 base plus 25 per
Wow.
match. And then probably
For your
more
higher profile matches.
for like for main events, big fours, WrestleMania.
That's
and then females, once they get experience, get bumped up to professionals.
Taekwon saying Charles Robinson is making $250,000 annually from my research. That's amazing.
Yeah, I believe it. I would have guessed Charles Robinson made like $1 million.
Listen, $250 annually is amazing.
No, here it is. So, top 10 highest paid referees in 2022: Chad Patton and Little Nate, 500,000 plus 3,000 per match. I don't know any of these names. Brian Nugent, that's Asian one, 300,000, 300,000, 2,500. John Cone, 300,000. Aja Smith, Artemis, and Ref Jess, 150,000.
Dude, you know what I would do with $150,000 base salary? I'd go fucking nuts.
Yeah, dude. Plus all that travel, plus healthcare, plus $1,000 per match.
What I did 4 matches a week, $4,000 in my hand. Do you know how much crazy shit I will do?
Yeah, it'd be pretty wild. Okay, yeah. So Jade. Jade gotta get the title back.
Yeah, they're playing this weird keep away.
I mean, I'm over Nyla Rose. I think the project failed.
Well, she's not with Vicky anymore, right?
I have no idea, but she's not a great worker, and it's hard. I think it's hard for her to work with women.
Huh. Well,
you don't see her on TV. You don't see her on TV that much. Does this thing have a logo on it? It does. 2017. Cool. Yeah, it's just like she hasn't really been used on TV that much. And when she does, she's just. How can you sell? She's too big. Like anything like Jade is probably a good dance partner with her because Jade's strong and can probably lift her, and she's also big. But Nyla's
too big to sell.
If you have Tony Storm chopping Nyla, okay.
Yeah,
that's not.
You got to work around that story. That's I mean, that's psychology 101. You got to kind of work around with whatever you have with you. So and you could also argue about Nyla's not supposed to sell being that damn big.
Okay, but you can't sell. You can't work.
Well, you can sell, but it's kind of like you have to earn your son. Like for instance, let's take what was it? The big you ever hear the Big Show story about him and Austin on like the live events?
Yeah.
Where he was Austin pretty much told him how you can sell and how you cannot sell and all that. It's kind of one of those things that I think big men in wrestling have a difficult time learning how to sell because at one point you're told you're big, you're not supposed to sell, and you should take over the match. And that time you kind of do have to sell. Brock had that issue for a very long time. you know, and I think it takes a lot of time for them to figure it out. More so than like an AJ Styles, you're gonna sell because you're 5'10", and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna sell. you know?
Yeah. No, the big man's curse is true in wrestling, but it's different with women. Like Nia Jax also kind of had that problem. Like Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss, it wasn't believable because she's just so big. And Alexa's so small.
Are you talking about the Mania 34?
Or like Nia Jax versus Carmella. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying in general. But also Mania 34. Because they got that, they kind of got second to last spot.
That story was better.
Or whatever.
That story was better. The story sold the match. Yeah.
The story was great. Mm-hmm. The build-up was phenomenal. And the match was what it was. I believe Nia.
It was Nia won.
No. They had 2 matches.
No,
they had 2 matches, right? Nia got the win and won the title.
She had a poor run as a babyface.
She got cashed in on at Money in the Bank 2 months later.
Cashed in on that.
Yeah. It's just not Nyla Rose. It's just she's. I mean, you can't hide the demand features.
Well, you're never not going to, but
it is what it is. No,
yeah,
it's not her fault. It's just it
yeah.
is what it is.
So, but it's gonna be an interesting match. If Jade can lift her, and if she sells the lift really well, then I think that'll do wonders for Nyla. But we'll see what happens.
If there's anyone who can have a good match with Nyla Rose, it is Jade Cargill. Because Jade Cargill, like I said, strong. I mean, Jade Cargill also has the physique of a man.
She's just fit, dude.
Yeah, she's crazy. It's so scary and sexy. Like Jade Cargill is like, hey, not for me, but for people.
She is just fit. I mean, I just can't wait for her to move up to the actual that too.
WWE.
That too. But like she needs. I'd love her as a 2-belt champion, but that doesn't always work in wrestling. But I'd love to see her go for that world title at some point. Yeah.
When she's ready. Honestly, have her keep this fake stupid title until she's ready.
It works. She is proof that a mid-card women's title could work.
Like the only thing Jade Cargill needs is time.
Yeah.
That's it. And honestly, in wrestling, sometimes it's the best.
Because you know what,
need.
she's learning on the go, which is fine, and she has already mastered the marketing part of it. She markets herself wonderfully. The baddie section, and she carries herself well.
Really
the baddie section,
great on social media.
The baddie section is one of the most
section.
brilliant things that's happened in the past 2 years for AEW and women, or just for wrestling in general. Like she literally has a baddie section wherever she goes that she self-promoted.
Yeah, like she had a tweet. She had a tweet with like the Acclaimed, like a back and forth saying like, "My daughter got in trouble for school for saying scissor me, daddy ass." Thanks, guys. Stuff like that, right? Honestly, that could have not been true. It probably is true, but it could not be true. And it's just like, she's great. She's a star. In the making too, like she's a Star Wars lot to learn, which is rare in wrestling.
She hasn't hit her ceiling yet, which is crazy to think about. Absolutely crazy, but Jade retains. Moving on to a dinosaur in a cage versus a Jungle Boy also in a cage. Luchasaurus versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and I've seen Jurassic Park tons of times. You never put a dinosaur in a cage. That does not always go well. So based on that, I'm just going with Luchasaurus.
Hook a lot. There's MVP behind him. Like, when the fuck did that
Isn't
happen?
bad that I kind of thought the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's the coloring on the graphic. Luchasaurus wins. I mean, I love me some Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I like how they're calling him Jungle Boy Jack Perry too. It's like, oh, he's grown up now. They don't call him Jungle Man. We'll call him by his real name. He's young. He's younger than me. He's got a long way to go in this business. He can take the L. It's no big deal.
You never bet against the dinosaur in the cage. Like I said, I've seen almost all of the Jurassic Parks. Yeah. I know how this ends. They take over the world again.
Yeah, it ends with Jeff Goldblum with a flare.
Okay.
Sexy pose.
Can you imagine if they did it? Because I would do this just for shits and giggles. I'm an asshole, and I think the AEW fans would enjoy it too. Can you imagine if Jack Perry pulled out a flare in the middle of a steel cage?
Oh, that'd be so funny. Luchasaurus goes up and bites Christian on the head, on the forehead. He's sitting on a toilet.
Newspaper.
You're reading a newspaper? All right, can we take a quick sideberg? All right, that lawyer in the first Jurassic Park, not going to lie, I would do the exact same thing. I'd run straight to the toilet and hide. That's what I would fuck these kids. Why would they cover these kids? These stupid kids. They're not my kids.
Oh, my God.
Luchasaurus wins. I mean, Jack Perry, another guy. All he needs is time.
Yeah, he needs time.
And he's like, whereas Jade needs time for the in-ring,
Jungle
Boy needs time for his mic skills.
Yep.
Out of ring.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Moving on to the Battle of the Old Guys, featuring the young kid in the corner. So Grandpa Sting and Darby Allin versus Team Impact, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, because this is a match happening in AEW. I don't know where to go with this.
Yeah, okay, here's what sums up this match. In this graphic, Sting is yawning because even he's sick of this shit.
I
You know Jeff Jarrett is still under
He's got
contract
a
with
license
WWE?
contract, right?
I think so. I'm pretty sure it's per
He
Zarian. So
he shit on
credible.
Braun Strowman the other week.
Dude, everyone shits on
He
Braun
shouldn't.
Strowman.
He's because I forgot who Jeff Jarrett was. That giant that's guy of Indian descent from that AEW has that came out to that weird pop at the the no pop at all at the end of Dynamite. He goes, "Our guy's a real monster, not someone who wears tight red jeans." I was like, Jeff, we put you in the Hall of Fame. You come back for Rumbles, and this is how you treat us, Jeff. See how it is.
Yeah, it's like what? What? I mean, classic
Seriously.
Jeff Jarrett, just in and out of WWE forever. The guy cannot stay in one company for more than 3 years. He can't do it. Even his own company. I hate Jeff Jarrett. Fuck Jeff Jarrett. He's the fucking worst. Him and his stupid Dixieland theme song, his TNA theme song. So much. I'm so glad AEW is using his TNA theme song because it's the elite theme song.
You know what I just realized? He was at SummerSlam.
Yeah, he was. Night before he retired Ric Flair again.
He went to SummerSlam, retired Ric Flair, and now he shows up in AEW. Is he broke?
Fuck Jeff Jarrett. I hope so. I fucking hate Jeff Jarrett. Dude, if we're at WrestleCon or Access, and it's a 3-hour wait to meet the Bella Twins and no line to meet Jeff Jarrett, I'm waiting that 3-hour line.
To meet the Bella Twins.
I just can't stand Jeff Jarrett.
This is such a weird match to have on the card. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Also, fuck Jay Lethal. All right, you had one good gimmick 13 years ago for 3 segments. All right, fuck off.
Jay Lethal is such a. It's sad with Jay Lethal because I feel like he's such a wasted talent.
Dude, he's not even a big fish in a small pond. He's a medium-sized fish in a brook. All
right, put it this way. Gimmick aside, is Jay Lethal the poor man's Shelton Benjamin?
Oh. No, he's had more success. I'll even say
Jay Lethal didn't have a world title, so I'll give you that, okay.
It's yeah, but it's just dude, Ring of Honor is a pit stop on your path to the way to success. You stayed there forever.
Even Mr. ROH left and went to NXT.
That's what I mean.
Even Mr. ROH was like, I'm out, guys.
Everyone who's ever been good
left.
Has stopped in ROH for a cup of coffee and then left. No one good has stayed for more than 5 years.
Except for Jay Lethal.
I'm sure there's one. Yeah, I'm saying I stand by that. And he was good has never stayed for more than 5 years. You know who stays in ROH? People who can't sign anywhere else.
Oh yeah, it's so bad, Jay Lethal.
See, I'm talking a lot of shit tonight. I love it.
Puts you in a good mood.
It's an upper, dude.
I don't know who wins this. I really don't care. Why is Darby still stuck with Sting? I don't even know as well, but
dude, I like Darby.
Aesthetically, they look.
I like Darby and Sting.
I get it.
Yeah, they work. I mean, there's no reason to break them up. I think they should go after the Acclaimed. I think that'd be a great feud.
That'd be good. The Acclaimed making fun of the emo family.
Dude, if you're gonna sign Jeff Jarrett, why is he wrestling? Jeff Jarrett's not a draw. Jeff Jarrett's never been a draw. Jeff Jarrett is mid-card at best. He's good at smacking guitars over foreheads and losing to China. That's all he's good for. And creating a cockroach of a company and a failure of another company.
He's a great mid-carder, though, which is crazy. Nothing more.
Yeah, great mid-carder. Good getting heat.
Although he is the recipient of the finger poke of doom. Oh, no, he's not the finger poke of doom. My fault. My apologies. He laid down.
Yeah. Him and what's his name, Russo, single-handedly killed WCW in a Giants jersey, nonetheless.
San Francisco Giants.
That was the funniest thing to me, dude. Vince Russo's cutting that promo, burying Hulk Hogan, burying the promotion in a Barry Bonds jersey. So apropos, dude. Who's gonna bury wrestling in a Barry Bonds
Do you know how low the
jersey?
company had to be to have Jeff Jarrett as their world champion?
Yeah. At least Buff Bagwell never won
Buff
it.
the stuff.
Buff the stuff, man.
I love me some Buff the stuff.
Dude, if I had to watch, gun to my head, it's another Bullet or a Jeff Jarrett Buff Bagwell match, motherfucker. I don't care how old I am. What time of day is it? Taking the Bullet. I don't care if I have kids. They're being orphaned.
Listen, I don't know who wins.
Or Darby and Sting.
Sure.
Darby and Sting.
Sure.
Isn't Darby supposed to be a pillar? He's a pillar with 18 cracks in it and it's being held by Gorilla
The
Glue.
only pillar that stands up on his own is Britt Baker, which is surprising. MJF's rebuilding his pillar, yeah. The most over Jeff Jarrett has ever been is when he had Deborah with him. That's because Deborah took off her top like every episode of Raw.
Oh,
No, it was when he was on Raw. Deborah was the manager.
So let me tell you, dude, 1997 WCW with the Four Horsemen. It's Jeff Jarrett. Like, is he? Isn't he a Four Horseman? Also, is he? Isn't he fucking Deborah McMichael? And it was awful.
Who happened to be married to Steve Austin for a considerable amount of time, and then that.
No, at that time, she was divorcing Mongo McMichael.
And then she did. She married Steve, right?
And then 1999, she married Steve, and Austin slapped her around a little bit, and they got divorced.
So,
yeah, Austin's a domestic abuser. Don't forget that.
As well. But he makes a great beer, I'll tell you that. You'll find out tomorrow.
Waste of all time.
Whenever you decide to buy it. We'll go Sting and Darby just for shits and giggles. I guess. I don't know. Who knows? But that's pretty much the entire AEW card. They're obviously having 0 Hour, which is the name of their pre-show an hour before. It's going to be streaming live on Bleacher Report Live and Fight TV and blah, 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 and all of that stuff. Like I said, it should be a pretty interesting card as long as they hit their marks and that they don't fuck up this finish. That's the big thing with AEW. I'm always concerned that AEW might screw the finish up.
Can always rely on this group of finish.
So that's what's going to be. Depth Triangle is going, and we're going to do this one on the fly. According to Mr. Fretz, breaking news: Full Gear Trios title match. So another title match for Full Gear for the Trios title. It's going to be Depth Triangle versus, lo and behold, the Elite.
Green jacket, blue jacket. Who gives a shit? Hope that. That's my answer.
I don't like this for a lot of reasons. My primary reason being you're going to bring back the Elite, the guys who were once your owners of the company, which is what it is. But number two, also involved in one of the worst, in the worst publicity thing that's happened to your company, and you're going to automatically give them a title shot when they come back in.
I mean, I agree, but fuck CM Punk. So yeah.
So that's what I'm concerned with.
My twink size will make his ref bump. Thank you, Taquan.
So I'm concerned about that. This is obviously setting up for the Elite to win. I'd be surprised if the Elite loses, but I think the better idea is have the Elite lose. But I don't think they're going to. But I'm still going to go with Death Triangle.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. This company needs the young, but this company needs the Elite. I mean, it's all Elite wrestling without the Elite. That's probably why it sucks.
It's become no Elite wrestling. It's new wrestling.
it's where's the Elite wrestling?
So that's gonna be an interesting one. Which means they're probably putting the Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal and Sting and Darby Allin match on the pre-show now, probably because that'll.
How they put on the post show when everyone leaves?
that'll get the crowd going. But how good do you think this will be? Let's crown this real quick. 1 crown being the worst show ever, 10 crowns being the best show of all time. So how many crowns will AEW Full Gear get, Will Tarashak?
Dude, probably like a 6.5, man. I don't care, to be honest. I don't care about a lot of this. I'll watch it with a low bar. I'll eat an edible, make sure it's nice.
Yeah. French is
Yeah,
giving
we'll
it
go 6.5.
8 crowns. It's a pretty
Keeping the
high
bar
mark.
low.
Here's the thing with AEW pay-per-views is that there's not that many of them. So, which is
Which is good.
but also since you don't have that many of them, they have to hit. Like they all
Also
of you
true.
cannot have a sour pay per view. There's not that it's like takeovers in NXT did this perfectly. There weren't that many takeovers, but when it was takeover time, everybody was hitting on all cylinders. And I don't feel that way with AEW a lot of the time. Sometimes they stumble into events, sometimes the events are built up well, and even sometimes when the events are built up well, it crashes and burns like the exploding barbed wire match. Remember that debacle?
Mm. How can
Remember
I ever
that
forget?
debacle? Some of the greatest memes of all time in wrestling when they put it to the Titanic music. Amazing, amazing. Um, However, this if you hit this finish, and by the finish I mean if you hit MJF winning this world title in New Jersey, the closest thing you can get to Long Island at the moment, in New Jersey, to the pop of a clearly all Northeast crowd, and it's where MJF is from. I think this makes this one of their better pay per views of the year. With that being said, I'm still going to go with a 7. You know,
All right, fair enough.
so let's move on from that. On to some other news. We do have to congratulate the Usos. The Usos are now, after Monday passed, the longest reigning tag champions of the modern era, beating the New Day in another fantastic fucking match. And now we're in the history books. It's crazy that we got the Usos 1, the New Day 2, and these guys have learned to stand the test of time.
Yeah, they played the hits. The match is exactly what I expected. I mean, yeah, it was there's nothing wrong with it. No complaints. It was phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
exactly what you expect.
I hope one day, and I don't think we'll ever get it unless the powers that be set something up. I hope for one day. I've always wanted to see New Day versus the Elite, which would have been great, but I always wanted to see Young Bucks
Oh,
versus Usos.
I prefer the Usos versus the Elite at this point. I think the New Day ship has sailed.
Without Biggie, it's a
I mean,
hard. They're taking a big hit.
it's still a dream match. Usos versus New Day versus Young
Well, no, the
Bucks.
Elite, unlike when they're
But
trios. Yeah,
oh, you
trio.
want to do trio then?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, that's much better.
It would be
Yeah,
trio.
that's
It would be
much
like
better.
the Elite as the trio versus the New Day, but the Young Bucks versus the Usos.
Yeah, I think New Day versus Young Bucks that ship has sailed. Whereas like the care, the story, this wouldn't be
Yeah.
as good as it could have been. But against the trios, I think you're 1,000% correct. That flair, that flavor, that desire, that pop, that story,
Yeah.
it's all back. And then the Usos versus the Young Bucks
Yeah.
writes itself.
How,
I mean, 'cause if you're saying top tag teams of all time, my favorite's still the Dudleys. I love me some Dudleys. They're my
Yeah.
favorite tag team ever. But top 3 tag teams of all time is Usos, New Day, interchangeable 1 and 2, and then the Young Bucks
Yeah.
number 3. It just is. That's just
yeah.
it is.
How many super kicks do the Usos and the Young Bucks pull off in their match if they face each other?
They only hit super
It is
kicks.
literally, they're gonna call it a super kick party match.
Yeah. Yeah. The only move you can do is anything else is a DQ.
It'll be like a fucking duel of super kicks. It'll be absolutely amazing.
Ref by Shawn Michaels, when instead of super kicks, you stomps in the corner. Like tuning up the band.
That's a match I want to see.
that would be fucking amazing.
It's like slap fighting, but like more intense. Shoot it up.
1, 2, ow! And Shawn Michaels does a back bump.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
That'd be the dumbest fucking
But it would
thing
pop
ever.
so hard.
But it would be so good. It'd be so cool.
Oh my god. First team not to hit a super kick loses. They just blow out their legs hitting super kicks. That'd be amazing. But congratulations to the.
How do you win a super kick match? The last one to blow out their knee. It's a last man standing super kick match. Only super kicks. The last one to blow out their knee is the winner.
That would be it. Oh my God! So congratulations to the Usos. Speaking of Shawn Michaels and all of his cross-eyed glory, made a special announcement for NXT Deadline, which is going to be happening on December 10th, I believe. So in about a month or so from now. So NXT Deadline is going to feature for the first time ever Will Tarashok, and you're going to have to allow me some time to go through this, but it's going to be called an Iron Survivor match. That is the name of the match. It is called.
Hosted by Dick Probst.
It's called Iron Survivor, and so here are the rules, and I'm going to tell you what the rules are in particular right now. According to WWE's website, Iron Survivor goes like this. There are going to be 2 Iron Survivor matches, one for the men and one for the women, 5 participants per Iron Survivor match. 5 superstars will compete in this unique 25-minute match. They battle each other and the clock. So it's a 25-minute time limit, okay? 2 superstars will start the match, and every 5 minutes, a new superstar will enter the match until all 5 are in the ring. The goal is to have the most falls when the clock hits 25, so it's like Championship Scramble and King of the Mountain. Falls can be won at any time via pinfall, submission, or disqualification. When a superstar scores a fall, they will earn 1 point. However, when a superstar loses a fall, that superstar must, quote, pay the penalty, and they are forced out of the ring and into a penalty box for 90 seconds. Once when 90 seconds are up, the superstar can re-enter the match. The superstar who has scored the most falls when the clock hits 25 minutes will be named the Iron Survivor and become the #1 contender for the NXT Championship and NXT Women's Championship, respectively. That is Iron Survivor. Immediate thoughts, Will Tarashok.
Dude, it's just a championship scramble with more steps.
And a penalty box.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. This sucks. What the fuck is this? So 2 challengers start. Every 5 minutes, someone else comes in. But it's 25 minutes. So that means the last person in is going to have like 5 minutes
10.
to get a pinfall. So you don't want the last person. You don't want the last person in the penalty box. What's going to stop a heel from going, yeah, fuck that, and just not doing it?
I don't know. We're going to have to find out. But
like, is this the honor system? Is a boogeyman going to come out if you don't win a penalty box? Like, I have so many questions for this clusterfuck. This sounds really stupid.
It is interesting because I feel like there's going to be a lot of strategy involved in this. It's obviously.
How do you call this match? Vic Joseph.
How do you call this match? How many reps are a part of this match? Who's watching the penalty box? How do you get into the penalty box? Where is the penalty box?
Is there a 90-second clock? Like, is there a constant clock? Like, this is.
And how do you
this dude? This bring back a championship scramble. I actually liked.
I thought Championship Scramble was great. I wasn't around for Championship Scramble, like I wasn't watching, but I played it in the video games. Like, this seems fun.
It's a really cool concept.
You know, I like the idea of a time limit, which is cool. It's like they're trying to mix War Games and King of the Mountain and all this stuff all into one. My question is, you got to create qualifiers, and then from qualifiers, how do you decide who goes first and who enters last? Because the person who enters the match first has the highest odds of winning.
Not only that, too. So, like, what if there's 4 people in, right? So that means there's another 2, it's 10 minutes. So that means there's like 15 minutes left. And someone gets pinned. So there's 90 seconds on the penalty box. And then the 5th person has to come in, so there's a 10 count. And then, like, the penalty person's like, am I in? Like, you're gonna have a clock. You're gonna have a clock for the total time, a clock for the penalty box, and a clock for the 10 count for the next person to come in. That's too many clocks. Who's the timekeeper? Is the timekeeper gonna be like, what the fuck am I doing over here?
Also, Charles brings up a good point because they did not actually clarify this as well either. Is it 25 minutes from the start of the two competitors fighting, or is it 25 minutes after the last person enters? Because like.
Then at that point, what's the point of having
because,
five people come in then?
Yeah, because like in War Games, the War Games match doesn't officially start until everybody enters the enters the cage.
Yeah, that's fine. That makes sense. That's fine. That makes more sense. It's silly, but that makes more sense. This is just like
that's my time because if it starts with the first two competitors, then then people coming in are automatically going to be at a disadvantage, which makes it a little bit more intriguing. Because how do you fight that natural adversity? But it seems like a lot. The clock thing is a big thing. Like that's a lot.
There's too many clocks.
You know.
Honestly, take out the penalty box and it makes
if you
a little
took
more
out the
sense.
penalty box and you made this. If Iron Survivor was another way of doing the Elimination Chamber, and you took out the penalty box, it'd be a lot more interesting. So take this concept, take out the penalty box, and put it in the Elimination Chamber.
Dude, you know what this match needs? Pat.
Yeah, it does.
Because Pat would be like, let's try us on some house shows because this is ridiculous. And second of all, what the fuck are you thinking, Sean? Are you drinking again? Are you on drugs? Are you fucking Sunny, Sean? Are you fucking Sunny? I know. Hey, I bet Sean get a conjugal visit.
Yeah, like I said, if you put this in Elimination Chamber, this makes it a lot more interesting of an Elimination Chamber match. It also sounds like it would fit in the Elimination Chamber. Like Iron Survivor inside Elimination Chamber, where no one gets eliminated, you have a set time limit, and people come in at intervals.
Yeah, dude, make it a cake that's on fire.
A cake that's on fire, you said? Oh.
A cage. A cage that's on fire.
You're gonna overheat everybody in the arena.
This match needs guns. The ref has a handgun. In case anyone fucks around.
I'm interested to see how this goes. It's gonna be really.
I'm not.
Also, here's another question: what if someone?
Stupid.
So what if someone gets a pinfall and that person who takes the fall gets into the penalty box? Then what if another person gets another fall within 30 seconds? Do they go into the same penalty box? Is there a different box? Do they what happens if they start fighting in the penalty box?
Yeah, can they paint each other in the penalty box?
Or is it like dodgeball
really
when you pin someone? It'd be like if you take somebody out, somebody from the opposing team gets to go back in.
I guess. What happens if I
There's a lot. There's this has to be, for no pun intended, it has to be ironed out a little bit more. Here's the thing. I like what they're trying to do, but it just needs to be fine tuned.
Because if you're in there first, and you get 2 pinfalls by the time that 5th person comes out, and that person has 5 minutes left to get 3 pinfalls. What? This wasn't thought out.
Or
at
if
all.
you are the 5th person, you have the most energy, and that person who's been in you can tire them out, beat them really quickly, and get those quick pinfalls.
Yeah, but you have the least amount of time
that's
to get
where
the
the
most amount of
intrigue
pinfalls. Is it, or is it
It's intrigue, depending on how you look at it. Either you're gonna like it or you're gonna hate it.
We need Vince. We need Vince back.
I want to see how this airs out, and who's in it, because they have not named the competitors yet at all.
Dude, I guarantee you, someone in this match is gonna get confused, and it's gonna be Carmelo Hayes.
I was gonna say it's gonna be Vic Joseph. I feel bad for Vic Joseph. He's gonna have so many notes that he's gonna have to take.
Dude, why is Booker T calling this? This is gonna be the biggest clusterfuck ever. But he's like, oh, I don't know what to call, Vic. The fuck?
I'm all out of shucky ducky quack quacks. Oh my god! Let's
Stupid.
move on. We'll iron it out when we get to it. Also, Survivor Series War Games is coming into play. The women's match, for the most part. Mia Yim, as we thought, would join Team Bianca and Friends, and also because Mia Yim joined, Rhea Ripley solidifies Team Damage Control. So you have Damage Control, Rhea Ripley, and a very absent-minded Nikki Cross, which is amazing TV.
I'm about it, dude. This is a good
And
War
then
Games
you
right here.
have, Mia and Bianca. So the quick question is, who is the fifth and final member? Because you have a bunch of.
Oh, Beth, Mr. Fresh.
I think
yes.
I thought about Beth because
Yes.
Becky would make a lot of sense, especially if you hold her back. But it's Beth going up against Rhea. But
Yeah,
I think you
that's a
hold that
great
surprise
idea.
till Survivor Series, though. That's just me. Like, I like the idea of, because it works so well with Kevin Owens. You hope.
I disagree only because the internet will ruin it and think it's Sasha and then be inevitably disappointed when it's not Sasha.
My top three, it's either Sasha, Becky, or Beth.
Yeah, I mean, I think Becky's still hurt. Personally, I have no idea. That's my guess. But if it's not Sasha, and like honestly, you gotta gauge Twitter, which is a terrible
Especially
thing
this
to do.
day and age.
But you gotta gauge Twitter. You gotta, especially this day and age, you gotta gauge Twitter. You gotta gauge the internet. You gotta gauge what the marks are thinking and saying. Because if they're all saying it's Sasha, it's Sasha, it's Sasha, you gotta nip
Pull
it in
the trigger
bud
now
and
and
announce,
be it's
no, it's
be
not.
Beth. Yeah.
Yeah, because instead of being disappointed by Sasha, they're excited for Beth.
I would love Becky just also because, Becky, Boston, Irish girl in Boston.
Yeah, also Sasha.
Also
Boston.
Sasha, but like, here's the thing: with those top three as your prospective fifth person, you can't go wrong in Boston.
Correct. Yeah, it's no matter who you
Exactly.
pick, it's a win.
So it's what people on Twitter, speaking of Twitter, pointed out in particular. If you look back at the promos for this match on Raw this week, and this could be foreshadowing or it could be just people on Twitter looking into it. Alexa Bliss is cleverly distant from the rest of the group when they're together.
Think
She could pull the
turns?
Dakota Kai turn.
Dude, I hope
Dakota
Kai
Kai turns again. She comes out with a
beats the
brand
fuck out
new
of Nikki
haircut.
Cross.
You're like, ooh, she's looking different.
Ooh.
Here's also the interesting thing as well. Io Sky, formerly known as Io Shirai, has been in every women's War Games match.
Hell yeah, she has.
So good for her. I'm excited for this. You have enough people who have been in War Games for this to be pretty much a success. Bianca's been in it. Rhea's been in it. Dakota Guy kinda was in it.
She was booked for it at
You know.
least. Although I did love it on Raw that Doc Gallows had a giant thing of beer in the back.
I thought that was great too. It's like, hey guys, got some beer.
I was like the beer. It's like Medium's like, keep the beers on ice. I'm like, all right, we got beers. You see, he's got caps to Budweiser.
You know what? I feel like that's just them too. Like I feel like they just drink beer and just bullshit all the time.
Yeah, I feel like that wasn't even a prop. That's the stuff they had in the back.
That's what they ordered to the arena that night.
Yeah, they just had it.
Absolutely amazing. I love how well Mia Yim fits with them.
They do. It's like
Yeah.
they're actually friends. They do fit in really well. It's exactly what I hoped and dreamed of.
I love her
really,
nickname,
it's
Michan.
really fun. Yeah, it means crazy in Korean. I thought that was pretty cute too.
It's so good. I just can't wait for her to beat up Shelton Benjamin. You ever hear about that rivalry they have? So Mia Yim, so the backstory is Shelton Benjamin and Mia Yim are actually really close in real life. Because Shelton was the one who helped Mia Yim get out of her abusive relationship and her abusive marriage, like way, way back when.
Oh,
Physically abusing them. So whenever she gets the chance, whether it's on Up, Up, Down, Down, or any other, she shits on Shelton all the time.
You homewrecker!
She called.
You ruined my
She
perfectly
calls
happy
herself
marriage.
a Sheltie Slayer. That's what she says on Up, Up, Down, Down. So
Amazing.
I'm just like, when are we gonna have them actually like be assholes to each other on TV?
I love it. I love when wrestlers are friends.
So I'm War Games is going to be fun. It's going to be our Thanksgiving episode next week. Jesus Christ. Um,
I will be here for
Wednesday.
that. Yes.
Right before we're going to do our Thanksgiving episode. Instead of going out, we're going to be talking wrestling because we're old now. Last but not least, obviously they haven't officially announced it, but they set it up really well. The Brawling Brutes featuring Drew McIntyre. It's not going to be called Slexgiving, Frets. Versus the Bloodline. Versus the Blood.
Don't tempt me with a good time, buddy.
The Bloodline is probably going to be our men's War Games match. The Bloodline already had.
Yo, Fret, we got to go out for Fretsgiving.
Ooh, Frets, well, that's true. Frets, if you're available next week, we can have your Fretsgiving.
Yeah, Frets, I don't know if you guys do anything for Thanksgiving on
they had
Canada
already. They had it last month.
That's right.
He's available.
So, awesome.
Yeah, we'll do Fretsgiving. We can do something for that. So it's going to be the Bloodline, who already has 5 members, versus the Brawling Brutes. There's also 5 members of the Bloodline pending. Roman's going to fight in War Games, which I think Roman's going to fight in War Games. Because, yeah.
Yeah, he has to. I mean, the thing is, though, it's just like the club and the Judgment Day have the natural story, but it's like you need Roman in War Games. Like you need
and
it.
You already have that
so
match
hot.
because you have Rhea and Mia in the women's, but you also have just announced, which is going to steal the show, AJ versus Finn. Yeah.
Finn Balor. Yeah, the card's gonna be incredible. I really want to.
I really do. The tickets are mad expensive for the TD Garden. No, I've been looking. I'm like,
oh yeah,
son of a bitch.
Of course it is, dude. Yeah, Boston. Boston is a very expensive.
I can tell by your ticket prices. The Vazes are still. I'm letting the Vazes know I'm still holding out hope. It might happen. I have connects up in Boston.
You need a place to stay though. You can stay at my parents' place.
Show about your house. Hey, what's going on, guys? Oh,
yeah.
I also know a really good lawyer from Ostrich who lives in Boston, and she's fun. But back to this. Roman's going to be there. The Bloodline is going to be solidified. Sammy obviously is probably going to start the match. Here's the question. Who's the 5th member of Team Brawling Brutes? They already did the Sheamus surprise, which is not really a surprise at all because he just left to go get married. So you have Sheamus, Pete, forming also Butch, Ridge Holland, who we've forgiven for what he did to Big E, and Drew McIntyre. Who is your 5th on the Brawling Brutes?
I do think it's Braun Strowman. We mentioned this in the pre-show if you didn't listen. But I do think it's Braun Strowman because this is just KO is injured. It's a goddamn shame. But I do think it's Braun Strowman because I'm predicting that Braun Strowman is going to face Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. I mean, and I'm basing that off Braun is facing Sammy on the house show loop. So that's typically a prelude to what could be coming. But other than that, I have no idea what Roman's next feud is. But I think Rumble's a tough match for a champion who's clearly going to WrestleMania with the title. So it's just like, let's just do a fun match. Mm-hmm. I think
which is funny because that's usually what Survivor Series is for. Is like, let's just do a fun match. But it's not anymore now. It's based on something.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be Braun Strowman. It's gotta be someone from SmackDown. It's not gonna be Shinsuke.
No, Shinsuke just got eliminated from the World Cup.
It's not gonna be Ray.
It's not Logan Paul. Logan Paul has one knee, Mr. Frets.
It's not going to be anyone who's in the World Cup, which also World Cup, fantastic. They actually
you want to hear what's funny? It's the fucking best in the world trophy. It's literally the same trophy. Mm-hmm. Go look at it. Go look at that and look at the best in the world trophy. It's the same thing.
I didn't know it's the best in the world trophy. That makes me so happy. I hope Shane McMahon presents it. D'Lo Brown would be absolutely incredible.
Bobbly cat.
Farouk.
Oh my god. Maybe it's. Oh no, I was just saying Corbin. Who is a hot babyface on SmackDown? Because I think they have them all now.
Rick Boogs.
Could you imagine that Rick Boogs is the 5th guy, guitar and all?
No, it's definitely Braun Strowman.
It's not LA Knight, and it's not Bray.
I mean, think, dude. You got the what fits the Brawling Brutes, right? This fighters, brawlers.
Yeah. Okay. It's not.
Braun
Yeah,
Strowman
Mr.
fits.
Fretz, it's not Seth.
It's not Seth. He's gonna face Austin Theory or Bobby Lashley, triple threat. Maybe
That's gonna be a fun match. Yeah.
that would be great. Triple threat.
I think Braun is your front runner. I feel like they're going to reveal this on SmackDown this week. So, which
Well, they got to figure out what they're gonna do with Bray Wyatt. No, I can't see it being Brock.
Brock did his crown jewel one up. He's fine. Brock's going away for a while.
Yeah, Brock's facing Bobby at WrestleMania.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be so much
That is
fun.
worth a trip over to the West Coast. Bobby Brock. Yeah, no, Kurt Angle does not come out in Shield gear. Although that was funny that one time he didn't come out in Shield gear.
Dude, he looked so happy. I'll never forget the look on his face. He's like, yeah, I'm doing this.
Oh man, yeah. There's a lot of injuries right now, but I think Braun is your front runner for this, and that's gonna be a vicious match, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a
lot of fun.
It's gonna be rough. My only concern is there's nobody that will be potentially in there that's done a War Games match.
No. That's fine though. It's just 2 rings and 2 cages. Like, it's not
Just got to learn to walk between both cages, which takes some.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. The only difference is just maneuvering the ropes. The only difference is the
yeah, and there's that weird steel connector.
Yeah. So it's like Braun, just you gotta step over 2 ropes. Roman, you gotta step over 2 ropes. Usos, you gotta jump over 2 ropes. Sammy, you gotta jump over 2 ropes.
Sammy.
Solo, just
don't hurt me.
Just fuck up.
Stop looking menacing. Just don't hurt me, Solo. That's what you gotta say. Don't hurt me, Solo. Yeah, that is pretty much it. Oh, that's right. Pete Dunne was in War Games. My apologies. Correct, but it's not Pete Dunne. It's Butch. It's a different guy, obviously. Butch has never been in War Games. Pete Dunne, tons of times. But yeah, that's it for this week. It was a great 316 episode. Although I wish Kay was here. Rest in peace, Kay. They already started trending rest in peace Jimmy Fallon on Twitter, and he's not dead at all. Nothing. They just said rest in peace Jimmy Fallon. It's just a troll job.
Well, I guess rest in peace was career.
He's still got something, right? Cheering one more time. For 360 there.
Do you see Jimmy Kimmel was just like in an interview? He was just like, man, you know how hard it is not being able to make fun of Democrats on TV? I lost half my audience.
Jimmy Kimmel? He still has a show?
Jimmy Kimmel was like, he has late night. He was because the executives told him not to make fun of Democrats.
That's their problem.
And he was pissed because he's like, I lost half my fucking audience. I'm a hack now. Like, yeah, you are. I'm glad you know you suck.
Well, that's the executive's problem, which it sucks for him.
It is. I mean, it's also Kimmel's fault too. I mean, he could just leave and be even more irrelevant.
I don't know. Money talks, though. I don't know how much is getting paid, but like.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was Colbert, Kimmel, Fallon, don't make fun of Joe Biden. Sure, add another 0. Just add one more 0. I won't make fun of anybody. I'll suck his dick if I have to. Yeah. Honestly, fuck you, Colbert, for selling out. But where do I sign?
Listen, I love Colbert. Colbert played a Republican on TV. It was great for so long.
I know Colbert was so good in Comedy Central, and then he became Colbert on late night.
He became his real self.
Yeah, it's awful.
We can talk about that on the post show, but I did love the juxtaposition because you went from Daily Show to Colbert, and I was like, wow, that's balanced. But we can talk about that. We can talk about that later on the post show.
And I know you love Trevor. Trevor Noah.
Mr. Dua Lipa. That's what we're calling him these days.
I can't believe he's fucking Dua Lipa.
I have a fun Trevor Noah pack for you after the show's done. We'll talk about it on the post show.
Love it. He doesn't deserve Dua Lipa. All right, he doesn't deserve that sweet puss.
Well, he's leaving soon to go back to stand up.
He has a new special out. I think it dropped soon, or it just dropped on Netflix. So, good for him. Yeah, I'm sure his career will be great in obscurity and nothingness. The blank void that is his career.
I'll do like anyway.
We'll see.
We can talk about that on the post show. But yeah, let's get out of here. That's true, friends. We never did get John Stewart versus John Cena. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode number 316, our monumental 316 episode of Kings of the Rings podcast, celebrating all that is awesome 316, which pretty much means we drank some beer while doing the show. I've been your host, King Ricky Rose. Find me at Ambassador Biggs across all social media outlets, BIGZ, Ambassador Biggs, Kings of the Rings podcast at KOTR _podcast across all social media outlets as well, including Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Discord, Facebook, at KLTR _podcast. Like, share, subscribe. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast listening site, make sure you're listening to us and subscribing to us on Wrestle Addict Radio, the cure for the common wrestling podcast. And follow Wrestle Addict Radio socials at Addict _Wrestle on Twitter and Wrestle Addict Radio across all the other social media outlets. We reviewed Full Gear. We drank some beers. We're missing K. Murphy yet again, but have no fear. Fretz is going to be here next week for our Thanksgiving, Fretsgiving, Survivor Series War Games Spectacular, which I'm not actually going to name the title of the show that, but we'll see what happens. Will Tarashok. Yeah.
Little too long. My name is Will Tarashuk. That's T as in Thomas, ARASHUK. My podcast with Chris Engelbert, the financial advisor, planner, whatever. Talked almost 2 hours with the economy. It was great. Had a great time listening to it. A lot of fun stuff going there. I got a little angry on that one too, so that was fun. Next week I am off because it's
you're gonna be
Thanksgiving,
here.
But more things. For the Talk My Tower Shucks. More things coming. Fun. Hit that donation tab. Give us some cash. Support the product. I raised $1,100 by myself. If you can believe that. $1,100 by my fucking self. So. Keep that money flowing, motherfuckers!
Yes, baby. Don't forget this Friday, folks, on Wrestle Addict Radio, I'm going to be part of the WrestleMania podcast as we review an epic Survivor Series. Survivor Series, I believe, 2005 or so. Yes, you did miss a show, Matt Riddle. Welcome to the show, Matt Ritter.
Yep, got him.
But I will be on the WrestleMania. We're going to be looking at Survivor Series for Madison Square Garden. Yes, the Survivor Series where Elimination Chamber first debuted. So please check that out. Sorry, Riddle. Sorry about that, Matt. My apologies. Anywho, it's been a long show. It's been 316 episodes. We've been drinking Austin beer. It's been a great time. Hopefully K. Murphy will be back. But next week, our Thanksgiving Survivor Series War Games episode featuring Mr. Fretz, it is official. We will see you then. But so goodbye, good night. Enjoy Full Gear, hopefully, and fuck you, Slack. Yeah.
Got him.